Responding to the rise of social media across Africa, election officials are meeting in Johannesburg, South Africa, to explore strategies for utilizing digital media to ensure free, fair and credible elections. This follows African Union Commission's statement that it believes it is critical for the continent to use digital and social media to improve the quality of elections. To discuss this, we're joined by Tselane, former chairperson of the Electoral Commission of South Africa, and he joins us from Johannesburg. It's nice to have you around, Terry.
Chair, for having me.
So there's a lot of talk about the inclusion of digital or technology into our everyday life. Now, what are the key advantages of enhancing and using digital, including social media, for elections?
Digital technology and social media in particular play a critical role in terms of disseminating information instantly to the electorate. So the electoral commissions play an important role, and they use the social media to basically make sure that the electorate is familiar with electoral processes, and they're also familiar with the things that needs to be done when they go to the polls on the day of the polls.
So does that mean that the digital and social media platforms can help increase voter engagements and participation in elections?
Definitely it will. As you may be aware that particularly young people, most of them are in these platforms. They are on Twitter, they are on TikTok, they are on Facebook and Instagram. And it is therefore important to reach them in platforms where they are available. So if you want to have more young people participating in the electoral processes, it is important that we reach them in platforms where they are available. And thus far, as I've indicated, the kind of the platforms that are there in social media are very important in terms of giving us access to young people and to make sure that they participate in the electoral process.
Okay, we know how conservative activities, advertisements and jingles have gone in trying to make election appealing to the younger population in a particular environment or in Africa. Now, what kind of innovative ideas can come into play to help reach out to a diverse audience, mostly comprising of the youth, when it comes to election, for them particularly to participate in this particular exercise?
Well, the traditional methodologies that are used by the political parties and electoral commissions over the years have not really worked in terms of getting more and more young people participating. If you look at the numbers of young people participating in the electoral process all over the African continent, you'd find that they are very, very few. So it means that the electoral commissions have got to find a dynamic way of reaching them through social media. They've got to find a language that is appealing to them, a language that is consistent with the language that young people use when they are on social media. So those are some of the innovative ways that they can use in order to try to make sure that they can attract as many young people as possible. They've got to obviously, reach them in those platforms, but also construct the messages in such a manner that it can be appealing to young people.
Now, the underlying factor for this is to ensure that elections are free, fair and credible. So what strategies can be implemented to leverage social media and ensure that the processes and the attendant results are transparent?
That's why now, in order to be able to deal with that particular aspect, there is this framework that has been developed. That framework, essentially, it's aimed at trying to make sure that you do not have social media being used for misinformation and for disinformation. It becomes important, therefore, to find a framework of some sort that will actually make it much more easier for the electoral commissions to be able to communicate with the electorate without the negative effect of social media, which is that of misinformation and disinformation.
Tselane, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you very much for having me.